Hello BookTube, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my March 2019 anticipated reads. In this video I have 5 books to share with you that I am super excited about that are coming out in March. So I was looking at my list. If you are new to my channel, I keep lists on Amazon of the books coming out and what month they're coming out in. So essentially a list per month. And when I get ready to do these videos, I sit down and I go through those lists and I see what like my top 5 books would be that are coming out that month to share with you guys. I noticed in March there is not a lot of books being released, but these ones all look super fantastic. So as another note, all these books are that I give you this list in this list are as per release date. So they're in order of release date is what I'm trying to say. So the first book comes out on March the 12th. I did notice when I put the list together, I think 3 of the books come out on the 12th and the other 2 come out on like the 26th. So there's not a lot of variety this month, like in terms of date range, but like I said, all fantastic looking books. So the first one, like I said, comes out March the 12th and it's called My Very 90s Romance, and this is by Jenny Colgan. I am a big fan of Jenny Colgan's writing, and when I was flipping through the Coming Soon on Amazon and I saw this cover, the teenage me just immediately went, yes, I need to read that. So I was born tail end of the 70s, about as far late in the 70s as you could possibly be born. So I was a kid in the 80s, but a teenager in the 90s, teenager into my early 20s in the 90s. So the whole grunge thing with the Doc Marten boots and what have you, I totally get. And this book sounds so good. I'm just going to read the little bit at the top of the book, on the back cover of the book. And it says, from New York Times bestselling author Jenny Colgan comes a hilarious romantic comedy about a down-on-her-luck florist whose future begins to bloom when she takes on the challenge of helping to transform her nerdy roommate. That's all I needed to read. And saw the cover. This one did get pre-ordered because I cannot wait for it to come out. The next book also comes out, of course, on the 12th of March, and this is A Lethal Legacy by Heather Graham. This is the 4th book in the New York Confidential series. The cool thing about the New York Confidential series, unlike a lot of other romantic suspense series, for example, The Crew of Hunters by Heather Graham, is that all the books so far follow the same main 2 characters. I have only seen this once in another series of this, outside of like the Jan Ivanovich or any kind of cozy mystery. But there's the Fatal series by Marie Force, which also follows the same 2 main characters. So this wasn't, these books aren't so much about the romance, because that has already happened in the first book, but this is more about the cases themselves. And the 2 main characters, Craig is an FBI special agent, and Karen, his girlfriend, is a police psychologist. Psychologist, I think it is. Sorry, bear with. And a psychologist with a psychologist. And so yeah, this is a really great series, and this one is about a island off the coast of New York State called Douglas Island. And there's an old abandoned house there that this gentleman kind of gets in an inheritance, and he decides that he's going to turn this into like this sprawling estate for people in the city to come to, like on weekends for rest and relaxation. His business partner is then found murdered. So Craig is this guy's cousin, so he calls him in to help him investigate what's going on. And it sounds really good. I really do enjoy this New York Confidential series. It's not paranormal at all. This is a true kind of a romantic suspense. If you like police procedurals, you will really enjoy this one, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I might have to read it for March Mystery Madness, so we shall see if that ends up making it onto my TBR. Next up, also coming out on March the 12th, is This Scot Is Mine by Sophie Jordan. I fell in love with Sophie Jordan's writing when I read How the Dukes Stole Christmas, the Christmas anthology I read back in December. And she was one of the writers in that anthology. And I still don't think I've read her before that, but I really enjoyed her writing, and this book sounds like a lot of fun. So our main character is trying to get out of marrying some guy that she doesn't want to marry. And she lies about the fact that she's pregnant with another man's child. So pretty much her reputation is in tatters. So she heads off to Scotland, where she meets this Scottish Highland guy. And he is part of a long clan of Scotsmen, and there is a curse on his family that the firstborn son is slated to die before his firstborn child is born. So the two of them end up kind of getting together for some reason. I guess maybe to protect her reputation and to maybe see if this curse is really true, because I believe that they still think that she is in fact pregnant with another man's child. So because it's not his child, will he escape the curse, kind of an idea. Sounds really good. Sophie Jordan. Now this is the 4th book in the Rogue Files series. Not sure if you have to read these in order, but I just thought I would mention it for those of you who are historical romance fans, that this one looks really, really good. Next up, coming out on the 26th of March, is Hot Texas Sunrise by Dolores Fawson. This is the 2nd book in the Coldwater, Texas series. I read the 1st book in this series, which was called, I think it was Lone Star Christmas, back in late last year. And I actually had an arc of it, and it was so good. Dolores Fawson is mostly known for her romantic suspense writing. This is her first delve really into contemporary romance, and this is such a good series. So this first book, or the 2nd book in the series, excuse me, is about a woman who is trying to keep her, I think it's her best friend's sons. I guess her best friend passed away, and she wants to take care of the boys. And she's trying to get the state to allow her to keep them. But in order to do so, because she's a single woman, she has to say that she's married. So she gets her old high school sweetheart to, of course, help her out by lying and becoming a foster dad on paper alone. And then, of course, the two of them will develop feelings for each other, and it'll go from there. The cover of this book is stunning. And like I said, I read the first one in this series late last year, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm very, very much looking forward to reading this one. The last book I want to mention is called The Cliff House by Rayanne Thane, and this also comes out on March 26th. You've probably seen this one going quite a bit around social media. I know I've seen it quite a bit on Instagram. I've seen some other booktubers mention it, and I'm super excited about getting a copy. I do actually have a copy of this one on pre-order, and I cannot wait to read it. I'm really starting to like the direction that some of these bigger named contemporary romance authors are going into and writing more women's fiction, which is exactly what this book would be considered. You know, Sarah Morgan did it last year with The Christmas Sisters, and, you know, Susan Mallory's been doing it for quite a while as well, with a lot of the more women's fiction books that she's writing. Kristen Higgins is doing the same thing, and it's really refreshing, and it's a nice change of pace that it's focusing more on home and family and those relationships outside of the romantic relationship, which is still, you know, and those romantic relationships often do still factor into these stories, but they are not the basis of the story. The family aspect or the friendship aspect is what is actually focused on, and I really, really like that. So this one is about two sisters whose parents passed when they were quite young, and then they were raised by their aunt. Now they're both fully grown, and they're kind of dealing with their own things in their lives, and circumstance brings them both back to their childhood home where they lived with their aunt, and their aunt has now decided that they're old enough to reveal the secret. And I just love that whole kind of, I hate using the word, but I'll use the word trope in these kind of stories, like that family secret aspect. So this one sounds so good, and I cannot wait to read it. So anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below, do any of these books sound good to you, or are there any other ones coming out in March that you're excited about? And until my next video, you guys, take care and happy reading. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody.